This is Amy with the module for using TechConnect to manage your student organization and learning the basics of TechConnect. So when you first start using TechConnect, you are actually going to just go to the homepage of TechConnect. You can Google TTU TechConnect. You can go to our student involvement homepage and click the link for TechConnect. But you're going to pull up the web page. You're then going to sign in to TechConnect with your e-reader username and password. Oh. All right, there we are. Okay. Now that we are signed into TechConnect, we're going to start going over kind of the first step, which is kind of navigating the homepage. So some things to pay attention to on your TechConnect homepage are right here at the very top of the homepage where you see this yellow ribbon. So right here on the homepage, we have the ability to put alerts in this area. So when there are opportunities for involvement, when there are events that you can sign up for that our department hosts or that other campus partners might want us to let you know about, we can actually put those events, the links to sign up forms right here at the top of this page through our alert system in TechConnect. And so the alert that you're seeing right now is that our operations campus partners have asked us to let students know that room reservations for academic spaces are now open. So one of the ways that we're letting student leaders know about that opening to gain access to academic spaces for the spring semester is to put an alert on the homepage. So make sure that you keep your eyes peeled for any change of alerts right here on the homepage. Next, on the TechConnect homepage, you can scroll down and see the first few campus-wide events that are happening. You can click View More Events and see all of the student organizations that are hosting events on campus. One really neat update that I would like to inform everybody about is that when your student organization creates an event in TechConnect, that event will automatically be connected to the campus-wide events calendar that is open to the campus community and the Lubbock community. So we've worked for the past year to get the TechConnect platform to connect to the new campus-wide calendar software. That has been a successful integration. And so now all TechConnect events automatically are pushed through to the campus-wide events calendar. So that's just that many more people who are able to view that your student organization is having an event. So if you don't use TechConnect events, I highly suggest that you begin using TechConnect events so your event is going out to a larger audience. And that's part of this training as well, is showing you how to create an event in TechConnect. Right, and then you can scroll down to the section that says My Organizations, okay? And we're going to start in the My Organizations area. I would like to draw your attention to the latest news. So organizations do have the ability to use the newsletter feature. Our department uses the newsletter feature, and you can see that some other student organizations use the news feature as well. And that's another thing that we'll go over. Over here, we have quick campus links in the bottom right. All of these links, I do believe, are current and accurate, except this one might need to be updated. But other than that, here's quick campus links and community links specifically to the Volunteer Center of Lubbock, where you can find volunteer opportunities. All right, so going back up to My Organizations, for the purpose of this training, we're going to use the student org called Student Org Sandbox, okay? So you should, if you are correctly added on to your organization's roster in TechConnect, you should see that organization's button under the My Organizations area. If you do not, that is okay. You can navigate up to the top right-hand corner of the TechConnect browser where you see either your picture if you've uploaded a profile picture, or you see the initial of your name, and you can click that circle. A vertical menu will pop down. You can go to My Organizations, and then you'll be able to scroll down and see your various organizations that you're a part of. And then you can click that organization site. All right, so you can see the Student Org Sandbox. I can still navigate to the organization site from here. Okay. So now we're on the Student Org Sandbox's organizational homepage. So let's go through the homepage just a little bit. You see right here, we have our student organization name and we have our student organization's contact information. I would like to point out that when you are registering your student organization and you are updating the about information for your organization, that information will go on your Org's TechConnect homepage, which is actually viewable to the public. So we heavily encourage you to not put your personal information in the about info of the student org and TechConnect, just because that information then is not completely E-Rater protected. And I just don't encourage you to put your Texas Tech emails, your personal phone numbers on the homepage of your TechConnect page. All right. On the bottom of your TechConnect homepage, if you use the news feature, your news articles will show up there, your newsletters will. If you have documents uploaded into the documents section, your documents can be posted on your homepage. If you want your officers listed on your organization's homepage, that's actually an individual privacy feature in each user's account. There is a privacy setting that has to be changed in an individual user's account to allow their officer position to show up on the homepage. Okay. And then if your organization has events created, those events will show up in this area. All right, so if you're a manager of your org's TechConnect page, from the homepage, you are actually just going to click Manage Organization. If all of us, so if you ended up even getting to that homepage for your organization, then you probably are at least a member of the org. If you have a manage organization button, then you are a managing member of the org. So like an executive officer. And if you don't have the manage organization button, then there might need to be changes made to the TechConnect roster to give you access to that. But from the manage organization page, we want to really draw our attention to our organization tools, which is this leftmost column here on our page. And we're going to go through each of these tools in this training today. The first one we're going to go through is probably the longest part. Actually, yeah, we're going to start with the roster. So I'm going to click the button for roster. And I'm going to show you all how to navigate some of the features on our roster area here. So we first see that the box at the top is our primary contact for the student organization. We then see that we can have members listed on our roster, all right? And so really when we start with the overview of how to utilize the roster feature, this is the most important part of the training because our roster controls everything else that we do in TechConnect to manage our organization. So if there's some different features that I can use. And so let's say that I want to make some changes to the people who are currently on the roster. All right. Let's say I need to switch officer positions around. Or I need to delete somebody to the roster, or I need to add somebody to the roster. Okay, that's what we're going to go over now. So let's say that Amy here needs to be made the treasurer of the organization because Brett has decided that that he wants to, I don't know, maybe try a different position or something like that, right? So we just need to switch the positions up on these members. So what we're going to do is next to Amy's name, we're going to come over to the right and click our blue pencil. And we're going to go through our officer positions that we have to choose from. So maybe Amy is going from just a traditional member to the treasurer. So we find the treasurer position, we click that button, we click save. And we see now that Amy is listed as the treasurer, but so is Brett and so is Deborah. So then we're going to move to Brett's name, go all the way across, click our pencil, and you know, Brett's going to end up being a member, is not going to serve as the treasurer anymore, and we're going to click save. So we unclicked the treasurer box. Now we see that there's no treasurer position listed next to Brett's name. So that's how we change positions for people who are already listed on a roster. Now, if we need to end the membership of somebody who is currently on our roster, what we would do is find the person's name who we want to end. We click this box and we click End Membership. If we want to end all memberships, we can click that button right there. It says End All Memberships, but that'll wipe out our entire roster. Then you'll have to go back and add all of the people back to the roster manually. Some managed roster tools are our current roster, which we've been working with. Then we have our pending roster. All right. So these are people we've invited to be part of our organization. So we can see we tried to invite Joey to be part of our organization, but she hasn't accepted the invitation yet. All right. So we have the choice to resend her an invitation or delete an invitation to her. And just to kind of clean up our page, I'm going to just go ahead and click Delete Invitation. Then we'll move over to prospective members. Prospective members are those who have requested to join your student organization. So if you have folks who are pending under your prospective members, what you would do is you would review whether they meet the membership requirements for your organization. Then you have the option to accept or deny that request to be part of the org. We also can send a message to the people who are down here. Terms and conditions. We do not have members with positions that have terms assigned. So this is not really a feature that I think many people use, okay? So we'll go back to our current roster. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go over the Manage Positions tool at the very top of our page. So here's where we can look at all of the positions, the officer positions that exist for this specific organization. Some of these are going to be organizational created. Others of them are going to be admin created and they cannot be altered. So under the template column right here, those positions that you see that are called organization created, those are the positions that you as the student who runs the Use TechConnect page can change the settings of. If under template, if you see that the name of the position matches the template, then that means it's an admin created position and you can't change those settings. So if we wanted to change certain settings, or if we wanted to see the access that a certain position has to the TechConnect page, we just click on the name of that position. And then we can look through the settings of this individual position name. We see that the additional advisor position for this organization has no access. So they cannot manage any features of the TechConnect page. You know, so it's always good thought to give our advisors, regardless of if they're maybe the primary advisor or an additional advisor, it's good practice to give them all access to your TechConnect page. Because when we have student turnover in officer positions, advisors generally stay consistent. And so it's good to have a consistent manager of your TechConnect page. So when we do change any settings of an officer position, after we change those settings, we just have to click Save, and then those settings are saved. So let's say we want to create an officer position. We would just click our blue plus and then position button, and you give the position a name. You can choose the position type. You can also show holders of this position on the organization's public roster. Earlier, I was talking about if you wanted your officers to show up on the Org's TechConnect homepage, there's an individual user setting that they have to change in their settings. That is true, yes, but you can also click this box that will always allow holders of this specific position to show up on the organization's public roster or to show up on the organization's homepage. And then you get to decide management access for this specific position. We're going to cancel out of that. And that is how you manage and can see the different access that your different officer positions have. So we're going to go back to the roster, and now we're going to go over the Invite People button. So in the Invite People button, we can actually add up to 500 email addresses in the text box that my cursor is in. They have to be school-associated emails. So in our case, they have to be a ttu.edu email address. You can copy paste up to 500 email addresses, separating them with commas, or you can put one address per line, or you can do single addresses at a time. So if you have a spreadsheet with a roster of TTU email addresses, you could copy paste from the spreadsheet into that text box. After you do that, you can click add email addresses. What we're going to do is we are going to use a sample email address. And so let me find one real quick. Hang on. Hang on, I put the wrong thing in there. There we go. All right, so we're going to add Matt to our roster. We're going to invite Matt as a member, or we can give Matt an officer position if Matt is an officer of the org, but the default position is always a member of the roster. So we're going to leave it at member right now. We're going to send an invitation to Matt, and then we see at the top, one organization invitation was successfully sent. So that is how we add people to our roster in bulk and individually. Once our roster is completely updated and it's up to date, we do have the ability to export the roster. We can go to our downloads page then and actually pull that downloaded CSV file that has all of the information that you see right here in that file. All right, and then I want to show y'all real quick, when I sent Matt an invitation to join our roster, I'm going to click on pending and we can see that Matt's invitation is pending right here. And then I have a date also that I sent that invitation. All right, the next thing we're going to go over is messaging, okay? So messaging within your TechConnect, TechConnect page is actually a really cool tool, okay? So sometimes organizations keep up with listservs year after year after year, and it's sometimes very hard to keep traditional listservs up to date. And so one thing that the TechConnect messaging system does for student organizations is if your roster is exactly up to date, it basically keeps a listserv for you, okay? And a neat thing that I'm going to show you about the messaging feature is you can actually label your rosters, your people on your roster with certain positions to categorize them, and then that can dictate how you send out messaging to different people on your roster, okay? So when we want to send an email message, right, because this is all done, when we talk about messaging within TechConnect, we're talking about emailing through TechConnect. There is a text SMS option right here, but I don't recommend you use that just because the number that the message would be texted to, it would be whatever phone number is in the student user's TechConnect account, and that information does not automatically upload from Banner. Instead, we don't keep that information in TechConnect, we keep that information in Banner. So there's no telling what phone number, if any phone number, you would be sending a text message to if you use this feature. So my suggestion is to just use it for emailing, or an email relay is what a message relay is what TechConnect calls it. All right, so now we are going to create an email relay. So we're going to navigate over to our blue plus sign, and we're going to give this email relay a title. So we're going to call it solo training video test relay, right? And then I'm going to select recipients. So in this first column and drop down right here, I'm going to identify members by their position template. So by their officer position, members I'm going to send this message to who hold this position. So let's say I want to ensure that this message goes to everybody who's on my TechConnect roster. That means I would want to pick member, because remember, member is the default. Everyone who is on your TechConnect roster is a member of your org, but not everyone is the president of the org or the primary contact of the org. So, for general messaging, your purposes would probably be you just click every member of your roster. okay? But maybe you only wanted to send a message to the everybody labeled on the guest speaker committee, right? Maybe you have a guest speaker committee and everybody who's on that committee is labeled guest speaker committee member. And maybe there's 10 people on that committee. You can click that and then you can send a message to just your guest speaker committee. Another interesting thing is, let's say, that you have members that you know are not super involved and you're looking for ways to better engage them in organizational programming. Then you could come over to search for specific members and you could actually send that person a personalized message directly to them, aiming to meet what that member's needs might be, right? So that's really cool too, that you have the ability to choose an officer position template or a group of people from the roster who are all labeled with a specific position template, or you can send the message to certain members within the organization. All right. So to show you the rest, I'm going to create, I'm going to select members on my roster. Okay. Now it says I have 8 eligible recipients because there's 8 people on my roster. And then I'm going to hit create. All right. So you see here is the title of your email relay created by the person on the date and the time. Okay. Now basically what happens is it creates an email address where all 8 of those contacts are in this little generated email address right here. So what's going to happen is you are going to take this email address here and you're going to copy it. Okay, you can Control-C, or you can come over here to the copy to clipboard, and you're actually going to pull up an open email and you're going to paste that email address into your to box of your email. Then you can CC whoever you need, blind copy whoever you need, title it, and then you can type your message. So when you send out that email, it looks like it's coming. It is coming directly from you. So this email would be going to the org members of the Student Org Sandbox from directly me, but the email address it's coming from will be TechConnect, not your personal Texas Tech email address, okay? All right. Then we have a summary of who we're sending it to. So our recipient criteria is 8 eligible recipients who are all members of the org, and we did not specify members, all right? The last thing I'll point out is this email address, the link that is created, is only valid for 24 hours from the time and date of creation. So I don't ever suggest creating these ahead of time because they're only valid for 24 hours and then they expire. So we're going to go back right there. Then you have on your messaging homepage, you can see all of the email relays that we have created. You also can see that they were created. They either expired or I think they're expired, or it'll say sent. Okay. Yeah. All right, now let's go back to our TechConnect homepage. Well, excuse me, our organizational homepage. Manage org. All right, now we're going to go to the about information. So earlier when I was saying that when you're doing the about information of your student organization upon registration, that everything you put on the about this organization page then turns into the home page for the organization. And so the information that you input under address, under phone number, under email, that is all going to be viewable by the public, by the entire campus, and by the entire internet, because in our privacy policy, the first time you ever log in the TechConnect, you have to read the privacy policy, and you may not see that in the privacy policy, it does warn that information that is in this section of TechConnect is viewable to the public. And then you agree to that, and then it allows you to create your account. But that is the disclosure about that. You can put any external websites that appeal to your student organization. You can put your social media handles, variety of social media handles in. Y'all will not see additional information. This is an admin tool, so you can ignore this right here, okay? This is what we answer to help our campus partners see who is compliant and who is not. I encourage you to really invest in the profile picture for your page. Invest in the full description of the organization. Because remember, this is what the students see when they find your organization in TechConnect. They're going to see the About page, the home page for your organization. And if it's not well put together, it won't entice very many people to come check out your org. So invest a little bit in this and make your TechConnect page dressy, make it catching to the eye. Right, now we're going to go back to our organization tools, and I'm going to briefly go over news real quick because it's very short. So you can see that the Student Org Sandbox itself does not publish a lot of news articles in TechConnect, but our student involvement page does. That's where we post our student involvement weekly newsletter. But if you wanted to use the news feature, you could come over here and click create an article. And you can give the news article a profile picture. You can give it a title, a summary, and then basically you're going to create your newsletter in this word processor box right here. Okay, so it's kind of primitive. This is the news feature is not something that they have worked extensively on as of late. There's been other things they've been working on, but you know, it's neat to have. We have found it very useful in finding another way, another medium to put our newsletter out to the student body, to the campus student body as well. You can also click on other newsletters that are existing. You can edit the article if you're the admin. You can delete the article if you want to keep your news, to keep your newsletters organized. You can see how there's all types of information in this newsletter as well. All right, now we're going to go over, oh my goodness, gallery, because it's pretty short too. Okay, so gallery works a lot like a gallery on Facebook. You can create albums, you can edit albums. All right, you can delete albums, and basically a gallery is just photos of what your organization is doing. It's a great way to keep a activity history, to establish an archive of visual, an archive of photos for your organization. You can have years of photos stored in TechConnect. And the great thing about using the gallery feature is that none of those photos will ever be lost or deleted, because TechConnect is a cloud. And nothing can be deleted in TechConnect. So if you want to keep an organizational history, like maybe you have a historian position who's in charge of taking pictures, you can always, have someone who organizes the gallery part of the TechConnect page for the org. Now we're going to go talk about documents real quick. Okay, so in documents, this also acts like a cloud or like a OneDrive, like a Google Drive, okay? You can't create documents in here, but you can store documents in here. So you can see how the Student Org Sandbox has several versions of a constitution and bylaws document. We also have a folder for constitutions. We can open that. I don't even see that there's anything in that. All right, we can label documents a different sorts of documents. We can make different folders. We can add files. Anytime, I always encourage organizations to keep their important documents in their documents page of TechConnect again, because anything that is uploaded into the TechConnect page is automatically going into the cloud of TechConnect. So you don't have to worry about losing it. You don't have to worry about losing a password to an organization Google Drive or the organization OneDrive, Or maybe an officer in their own OneDrive or Google Drives, they have important documents saved. And then when they graduate or they leave the org, there's no organizational history. So again, to create the sustainability of the organization and the organizational history, uploading documents into the documents area, uploading pictures into the gallery area, that's a great way to establish a timeline and establish a history for the organization. All right, now we're going to go over elections real quick. You do have the ability to create an election. So we can go back and I'm just going to click on a past election. We have properties for an election. So this is where you lay out the logistics, the time, the date, when it will start, when it will end, who can see the election, who can vote. The election status is active. I can turn past elections inactive if I care to. I can see ballots as well. I can create a ballot, where's basically where I put the people who other people are going to vote for. I can look at the results, total number of votes cast, total number of voters. I can export all of this data right here into CSV files, and then I can read about publishing options as well. And then under publishing options, I can generate an election link that I could then create an email relay to my organization members and provide them with a link they can click to take them directly to where they can vote or utilize this election right here. We're going to click cancel. If you want to create an election, you hit create election. All right. Then we're going to go down to service hours real quick. So what's really neat about TechConnect is you can log individual service hours and you can log organizational service hours. All right. So how you do that is you basically click add service hours. All right. And you can see that we're doing organizational hours right now. So these are service hours that have been served while from a student who is completing service as part of being a member in the Student Org Sandbox student organization. So we can search the student's name because they're on our organization roster. And so within Student Org Sandbox, Amy completed a service activity where we volunteered to sort food donations at Raider Red's. Oh my goodness. Food pantry. Okay. I would, we kind of want to give a better description of that. Select your date, select the hours you served, the minutes. You can also add a verification contact name. So maybe the verification contact name would be the director of the food pantry. And then you can click create, right? And then the director of the food pantry could then verify this submission. All right. And while we're at the managed service hours, if you're an individual, regardless if you're an officer of an organization, you can be a member of an organization and hold no officer position, and you can add individual service hours by going to your user account, clicking the circle, going down to service hours, and then you can add service hours. You can select the organization that you are a member of in which you served, which you did the service hours as a part of. You can add a description of the project you worked on, the date that it occurred, the number of hours you achieved, the number of minutes you achieved, and then you can provide a verification contact email as well to verify that. And that's how you log individual service hours and organizational service hours. All right, now we're going to go back to some of the more complex features of TechConnect, and we're gonna run over events, we're going to run over forms, and then we're going to run over finance. And stay with me, please, because there's a new feature in finance that we are excited to announce to you. We've been working really hard to get another funding source for our student organizations through Student Life. So stay with me through the end so I can explain how you can get more money for your organization. But first, we're going to go up to events, and we're going to briefly talk about how you can create an event in TechConnect, how you can edit an event, how you can take attendance through TechConnect at your event. So we're going to go up and create event. Now we're going to give in the first page, we're going to give the event the basic details. So we're going to call this the solo, basically just student org leader orientation, training video. I'm calling everything just boring. Okay. Then we're going to select a theme. And so really it's a training video. So obviously the theme would be learning. Okay. But maybe I'm having a winter end of semester social for the org. And it's the social, right? And so it's going to be social, right? You can only pick one. So you want to pick the one that most closely mimics the title of the event. So we're going to go with winter end of semester social. And here's where we're going to give a description. This is where we're going to tell this description ends up on the events homepage. And this is where students can read about what this event will encompass, what will happen at the event, and learn what's required to attend the event. All right. And the purpose of the event. So we're going to put here is members of the Student Org Sandbox come out to Chewy's for dinner and fun. Woo! Please RSVP so we can ensure we have enough seating. All right, it can be as detailed as you want, or it can be as vague as you want, just like what I typed. You also have the ability to link things where they can, I don't know, link a web page, link whatever you need to, okay? If there's another organization that's co-hosting the event with you, you can actually type their name right here. So let's say that, let's say Fraternity and Sorority Life is co-hosting this event with us. Fraternity and Sorority Life, right there. I can tag them there. I can tag more than one organization as well, okay? Then we're going to set a date and time. So let's say this event is going to take place next Thursday at, oh, not 11 o'clock. That's past my bedtime. We're going to say it starts at 6 o'clock p.m. It ends next Thursday at 9 o'clock p.m. All right. And so we can add a location as well. If we know the exact address and the location name, TechConnect can provide a helpful map. Sometimes it's helpful, but I think that's a stretch. And then other times it's not super helpful. Or we can do, no, I prefer not to show a map, and we can just type the location name. So I'm going to do Chewy's and not to show a map. So Chewy's Lubbock. There we go. Save. If we have an online event, I can do an online location as well, where I have the option of putting in instructions for how my attendees, how the audience can obtain access or attend the online event. I also have the option to give the online location link. So I can put the Google Meet link. I can put the Discord server link where they can join. I can put the, I don't know, the Zoom link, Microsoft Teams link, all that good stuff right there, okay? But I'm going to click cancel because it's not an online event. Then I can do my event visibility. So I'm either going to show this to the public, or I can do organization members or invited users only, okay? I have the option of selecting event categories and event perks, but you don't have to answer those. This event is going to be to the public. I have done events before where I do invited users only, and then after I create the event, I go back into the event details and I invite the specific users that I want to that event. All right, now we get into the RSVP settings. So who can RSVP to this event? Anyone, only those who I want to invite, or I can take the RSVP setting away and put no one can RSVP. So we did specify that we would love our members to RSVP so we know how many chairs, how many tables to get at this Chewy's event, okay? You have the number to limit RSVP spots. So say you've already reserved a room at Chewy's and we have capacity for 50 people. We can click the limit. We can put our maximum at 50. and we can show remaining RSVP spots to the public. All right. We can allow guests. That's where we can allow people to bring a +1. Okay. They can put then in the RSVP process, the people can put in the information of the guest that they would like to bring. All right. Then we can add, excuse me, y'all. Then we can add our RSVP questions. So we can add, basically we can create different types of questions to gather information from our audience who will be attending. And so this is where you could ask for their contact information. You could ask if they're going to bring a +1. Or basically just remember that you need to ask about what information that do you need from the people who are attending this event. And that's where you create it right here. Okay. But for the point of time of this training, we're going to click next. You also can create post-event feedback or like a survey for after the event. So if you want to assess, how much fun, if the event was fun, if people enjoyed the Chewies event, then you can click this box and have the TechConnect automatically send those who attend a post-event feedback notification after the event. You could incentivize them filling out a survey, right? And maybe giving them some type of prize or whatever an incentive might be. Okay. And then you basically just create evaluation questions to gauge the success or the unsuccess of your event. Unsuccessful your event was or successful. All right. Then we have the option to upload a cover photo for our event, or you don't have to. You can click skip. If you do want to upload a photo, you just would click into this box right here, and then it will bring up your upload box. We're going to click skip, and then we're going to complete submission. Okay. But I am not going to save this event because it's a test. So I'm going to go to previous. Yeah, and I'm not going to complete that event process. Okay. So that's how you create an event. You can also go in and edit an event by clicking events and then clicking on an event that already exists that you want to edit and clicking change details. All right. Then you can change the details of the event. Now, for an event that you want to take attendance for, you can scroll down into the event attendance section. You can actually track attendance, and you can look at who has RSVP'd, and you can invite people to RSVP. So you can actually take attendance by swiping people's student IDs. There is a swipe feature that we can show you how to use. You can check out a swipe, a card swiping apparatus from us that is a USB based and can plug into any laptop that has USB connection. You can send an attendance URL to people as well. So this is really great for copy the URL. That's really great to put into an online meeting. You can also generate a QR code specific for your event. Well, people can scan the QR code and it will automatically log their attendance for this specific event. Then you can go in and track attendance. You can add attendance or export the attendance. You can click text entry and manually add email addresses. That's the easiest way. When we get into the file upload, the system gets really picky about what type of file and all that good stuff. All right, after events, what we're going to do, wrong one. What we're going to do is we're going to go talk about forms. All right, so a form is an electronic Word document. It's an electronic Google document. It's a shared Word doc, that anyone who has access to it can submit to. Okay. And so forms are used a lot when you want to gather general information from people, whether it's through a sign up process for an event. You want to send a survey out, you can create a form for that and then send a form link to people who you want to complete the survey. You can do waivers, you can do awards nominations, you can do scholarship applications to forms. So anytime you need people to fill out something for you and you need to gather information about them, you can use TechConnect forms for that. If you want to create a form, what you're going to do in the Manage Forms page is you're gonna find forms in the center box, go over to the right and click the vertical top 3 dots and click create form. Okay, then you have your form properties. You give the form a name. So we're gonna name this one, 2023 RO Student Org Fair sign up form. Okay, so this is where we do all of our org fair signups is through TechConnect, as most of you probably know. What I would do then is when I'm ready, I would enable the form. That means people can actually use it, but right now it's disabled. I do an active from date and an active until date and time. I can include the explore form. I can include this form in the explore forms list. So when students go up to the very top of the TechConnect homepage, all right, and they go to forms, the form will show up right there. And basically what I do is I can require an approval process, or I don't have to require an approval process. I can require workflow steps to approve people, or I don't have to. I can allow submissions from public users, or I can disable that. I can allow submitters to have multiple submissions, or I can disable that. And then we don't really use a lot of this down here, okay? After I have everything done here, I will click save, and then I will go to basically edit questions. And then I have various types of questioning, like structures of questions that I can choose to add to a form. All right. And then basically I can decide how many pages I want this form to be. I can name the different pages, different things. All right. But what will help you most is I'm going to go and show you an example of a form that we have created. So let's use the 2023 RO Student Org Fair sign-up form. So we can see our properties for this form. Okay, we're going to go to our reviewers. I didn't put any reviewers in there. All right, we're going to, and then here's our questions. Okay, oh, that's a form we didn't use. All right, no worries. I don't know what an adventure park waiver is. Oh, which one did I just click on? Yeah, the adventure park waiver. All right, so we can see the form is disabled. It's outside the date range. That's fine. Okay, and I want you to go look at the questions real quick. That's what I'm trying to get to. How are they not putting any questions in these forms? Here's a sign up form that I know for a fact we have used. All right, so let's go look at the questions of this form. All right, so you can see this form is 5 pages long. Page 1, what we did is we provided a title, and we labeled this page exactly what students will do. So it's the instructions and the agreement. So you're expected to read the instructions and then the guidelines and expectations. And then we set it up to where you then use a radio button to click one of whether you agree with the guidelines and terms or you disagree. Okay. Then we're going to move to page 2. And then we decide, we labeled it participating organization information. So then you give us the basic information of your organization name. Excuse me, your organization information. All right, you can see that we have used text boxes to answer and we've made them required answers. We're going to go to page 3. You can see we provided more directions. You can see now we select one option, but we're using the option where you can check all that apply. Okay, and then we give the instruction to check only one. All right, so you can see how we have this form set up. Okay, then we have information about training dates, page 5. And then we're using our file upload option as well. Okay. So sometimes creating a form can be a little bit confusing if it's the first few times that you're doing it. We're always happy to help you navigate these features and help you learn how to use these features. So for the sake of this training, I won't spend a ton of time on showing you how to create a form or edit an existing form, because that's something we could have a meeting or we could email back and forth about. But now I'm going to finish up this training with navigating back to our Student Org Sandbox organization and going into finance for you all. So if you have been sung to sleep by this video, I need you to wake up now so we can talk about how you can get funding from Student Life for your organization. We are very excited to launch Student Life, Student Org supplemental funding. So if you wanted to send in a budget request to myself and our director of finance, and you wanted to request a certain amount of Student Life supplemental funding, what you would do is you would go to your organization's page, and in the organizational tools, you find finance and you click that. And then up pops the page that says purchase requests, and it looks actually very blank and confusing. So what you're going to do is navigate to budget. All right. You're then going to click create request and click create budget request. And I am going to create a click sheet that will be at the end of this training as well, where you actually have a step-by-step document that takes you through how to submit a budget request. Instead of creating actually, I am going to create a new budget request. So I'm going to click create budget request. All right. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select a process or budget to start this request. Well, the only one that's there is going to be the one that you need to click. So then I would click program event funding request. And now it's taking me through the process of submitting this request. So my request title is going to be winter social we're going to do a winter social facilities catering request, because basically what we're going to do is we're going to ask Student Life to pay for that Chewy's event that we're having. So we want them to help us pay for what it's going to cost to reserve a room in Chewy's and to provide our members with food. Okay. And we're going to give a brief description. So our description is Student Org Sandbox is hosting a winter meeting for members to socialize and celebrate a positive semester. We are requesting funds to assist with paying for the room reservation and the catering for this event. Next. All right, now we need additional information. So I need you to read the instructions and I need you to read the limitations of this funding. Okay. I'm also want you to refer to some resources that we have linked in this training right here. So we have a social event resource guide that that when you're having a social event like what we're planning right now, that you're required to read over the social event resource guide. You're required to read over the risk management guide, the event planning guide, and refer back to the TTU student handbook to make sure that this social event meets the policies of the university. Okay, then you're going to fill in the information. So your official student organization name, no acronyms, Student Org Sandbox. The system also knows that you are submitting this request as a member of the Student Org Sandbox, because that is how we have the process set up in the admin side of this. The requester's name and email, Amy Prouse, amy.prouse@ttu.edu. That's not ttu.edu. All right, org advisor's name and TTU email. We're going to say her name is Kimberly. Oh, Messed up again. Kimberly Thornton. Her email is kimberly.thornton@ttu.edu. The program event name, we're going to go back up here and copy paste. Is this event open to all TTU students? Yes, it is going to be open to all TTU students. Even though we're only inviting our student org members, right? The event is open to all TTU students. If you, so it's a yes or no question, okay? What's the date of this program or event? So let's say our date is going to be 12/21/2023. What time will this program or event take place? Please include AM, PM. It is going to be 6 o'clock PM to 9 o'clock PM. Will this event take place on campus or off campus? Well, considering Chewy's is across town, it's going to be off campus. Please provide event location. If on campus, please provide a building and room. If off campus, please provide venue name, phone number, physical address. So what I would do here is I would type in Chewy's Tex-Mex. And then I would go find the phone number for Chewy's and the address. All right, so the address would be 555 South Loop. Oh my goodness, this caps lock thing be getting me. South Loop 289, Lubbock, Texas, 79409. Okay, will this program or event include alcoholic beverages? Okay, all right, so how do we look at this question? So we know Chewy's itself serves alcohol, right? So now I must refer back to the resources we have linked at the top of this request, the risk management guide and the social event resource guide. All right. So let's think, will this event include alcoholic beverages? Is the organization providing alcohol to the members who attend that event? That's what we are asking. All right. So are we, Student Org Sandbox, providing alcohol to our organization members at this restaurant that is off campus? No. The organization will not be providing alcohol, all right? However, maybe we have members that are 21 and above. Are they able to purchase alcohol at this event with their personal money? You know what? They are adults, and that is for your organization to decide, okay? But that is not what we're asking here. What we're asking when we say, will this program or event include alcoholic beverages? We're asking, is your organization providing its members alcohol? All right. No, the organization is not providing alcohol to members. Does the request include expenditures for travel, conference registration, or conference attendance? Well, considering if we look at our title and it says Winter Social Facilities Catering request, and we've said that we're having an off-campus event that is still in town and it's a social, the answer to that would be no. Please provide a brief description of the program event, including the purpose. Okay, it's a winter social event. The event, oh my goodness, is a winter org social for members to socialize and have fun before semester break begins. What's our estimated event attendance? For this one, let's say there's 25 to 50. And then we're going to ask you what other sources of funding has your organization tried to utilize for the academic year? So did you use SGA budget process for student orgs? All right, so you can check all that apply right here. So let's say the Student Org Sandbox did apply for SGA funding. Let's say we have done organizational fundraising and we do have organizational budget. And that's all that we have, right? Okay, save and next. Now we're going to ask you line item details. So you would click in food and entertainment because in this budget request, you have asked for us to pay for the food at this event. we're going to add an item. All right, so this is our food, beverage, hospitality expense. So the name is catering for winter social. Here's our description is Chewy's provided quote for catering for the event. This is only catering. This is not room reservation. So the total cost of the catering would be a quantity of one, and let's say that it's going to cost $500. Whoa, not 5,000. $500 for Chewy's to cater this event. Then we're going to require you to actually provide that documentation to us. We need you to have a document from Chewy's that is the quote that will prove to us that it is a quantity of one at a cost of this much. So then you just click choose file and you go and click the quote, you upload the file and you save it. All right. Now the other part of this budget request is for rentals. All right. So this is all costs related to the rental of venue and setup and or rental of equipment and materials. So this is where you would put the quote from Chewy's for what it's going to cost to rent their room. So Chewy's venue rental. The description, this is the quote, the cost to rent the room inside the Chewy's restaurant. All right, so that's a quantity of one. It's a one-time rental. Let's say it costs $250 to rent that room. Again, we're going to require you to upload that quote to this line item. All right, that's it. That's all you're asking money for in this request is for food and rental. So you don't have to fill out. You're not asking us to pay for promotional items. You're not asking us to pay for marketing and services or speakers or supplies or any other expenses. So in that case, you click submit and then you're done. And then what happens is that funding request is then sent to me. I'm the first reviewer. I then look over the request to make sure that it meets all of the criteria and limitations of Student Life Supplemental Student Org funding. Okay. I will then click on that request like this. I then look it over. Okay, I click next. I can look over all of this, make sure it meets requirements. All right, I can open up the information that you submitted for each line item. All right, and then I have the ability to either move it to the next review process, send it back to you. But basically what will happen, and as soon as I receive the request and I see that all requirements of the application have been met, then I will reach out to the submitter of the funding request, schedule a mandatory meeting with the student and any other stakeholders. In addition to with myself and our director of finance, you have to have that meeting before you can be approved to be allocated the funding. Okay. So in that meeting, we'll talk about the event. We will ask for specifics. We will review documents with you, such as the social risk management guide, risk management policies, et cetera, et cetera. It'll very much be where we collaborate with you and your organization to make sure that we're helping you have a successful event. All right. And also making sure that our money is being spent correctly and that all policies are being followed while the money is being spent. Okay, there is a follow-up process. There is an after event expenditure process where you do have to submit receipts and everything. And by having that meeting with us, that is how we're going to keep in contact with making sure your organization finishes everything they need to do to apply for the money, be allocated the money, spend the money, and then turn in all post-event receipts to us. We're very excited about this new process, and we know we're going to have a lot of questions from students about, I'm going to withdraw that just because I don't want that data in the system, okay, because it's a test, so just ignore what I just did, all right? But basically, We know we're going to have a lot of questions about the new student life funding. We are excited to launch it. We have $25,000 for the rest of the fiscal year that we are excited to allocate out to compliant student organizations. So if you have finance questions, how to submit a finance request in TechConnect for our funding, please, please, please email me directly because I'm really excited to start working with students on this process. Y'all, and with that, I know we're a little bit longer than I wanted this training to go, but there is a lot of useful tools in TechConnect that you can use to manage your org. You know, if you're really intrigued about how you can more innovatively use TechConnect, please reach out to us. We're always happy to, you know, talk specifics about TechConnect and meet with students, meet with your executive board, you know, to help y'all run a very efficient organization. So with that, I'm going to end this. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Let us know if you have questions about TechConnect, and enjoy the rest of Student Org Leader Orientation. Bye-bye.